Welcome back, ladies and gents. The Christmas eShop sale is in full swing, and there are some brilliant deals going on for a lot of incredible AAA titles, and we will get to them as the days go on. But today, I wanted to look at some S-tier games you can experience for less than $5. I can't be alone in loving a bargain, and that joy I gain from getting 15 plus fantastic hours out of a game and then remembering it was cheaper than a coffee. Chef's kiss. So yeah, let's dive right on into the bargain bucket and look for some absolute gems. And let's start with one of the tightest platformers ever released. Celeste is a precision platformer built around compact stages that emphasize movement mastery and rapid restarts. You play as Madeline, climbing a mountain with a tight moveset, jumping, air dashing, and wall climbing, and each screen teaches you one idea before combining it into tougher sequences. Death is frequent, but the checkpoints are instant, so the challenge feels like practice rather than punishment. Optional strawberries and B-side routes add difficulty layers without ever blocking the main path, while the later chapters introduce smart twists on momentum and timing. The level design is readable, you can see the solution and then execute it under pressure. And if you're ever struggling too much, there are also assist options if you are just after experiencing the story. It's mechanically satisfying and just a beautiful game, and is currently £4.49 or your regional equivalent, and is discounted by 75%. From tight platforming to something far stranger and more open-ended, Paradise Killer is an open-world detective game where the core loop is exploration, interviewing suspects, and building your own case. You roam a surreal island collecting evidence, reading files, and uncovering hidden lore, with movement upgrades that make the navigation faster over time. Instead of a fixed sequence, you decide which leads to chase, and when you're ready to accuse someone, then a courtroom-style finale tests how well your deductions hold up. The gameplay is light on puzzles and combat. It's mostly observation, note-taking, and connecting details across characters and locations. It never forces a single correct route on you. Your confidence and evidence decide the pace. Paradise Killer is available for £3.87 or the price shown on screen, a 75% discount until January the 4th in the UK and Europe, and January the 7th in North America. I'm going to switch gears into something more systems-driven and nostalgic. Arcade Paradise is a 90s retro arcade game and light management sim combo. From cleaning toilets and picking up gum to doing the laundry, you take on the role of Ashley and manage the day-to-day tasks of running a family laundromat. But behind the scenes, you rebel against your father's wishes and create a games arcade to give the sleepy town of Grindstone something to really get excited about, as you wash rags, invest the profits, and build your very own arcade paradise. The more arcade cabinets you install, the more players will spend, with over 35 fully playable games to unlock. But remember, you don't have time to just stand around and start setting the highest scores. The toilet won't clean itself, and then there's the trash to take out. And all of these tasks and chore management really keep the pacing varied. I love how hands-on it is, because your upgrades are earned through doing the work rather than just clicking menus and placing the objects. Arcade Paradise is currently £3.99 or your currency's equivalent, and is also 75% off until January the 1st in the UK and Europe, and January the 2nd in North America. And this next one is far darker and far more narrative focused. Final Station is a post-apocalyptic adventure about travelling a dying world on a train. A story that goes through 5 chapters with large inhabited stations at the end of each one. And between stops you will maintain the train, treating passengers and rationing supplies. At the stations you explore locations, scavenge items, and make the decisions to avoid or fight the threats. Resources like ammo and medkits are limited, so decisions about risk and route matter, and the story advances through encounters and hard choices. You will choose what to carry forward, which really shapes how prepared you are for the next stop. The pacing alternates between tense expeditions and management moments where you are prepping for what's ahead. I appreciate how consequences carry forward, so conserving supplies early can change how the later sections play. The Final Station is an absolute gem. It is on the short side, offering about 6 hours of gameplay, but honestly, you won't regret it. It's currently £3.37 or your regional equivalent, and is also discounted by 75% until January the 8th in the UK and Europe and January the 9th in North America. Sticking with atmosphere, this one approaches combat in a very different way. Transistor is an action RPG that blends real-time movement with tactical planning through a pause and plan system called Turn. You can freeze time to queue abilities, then watch them execute in sequence, creating a mix of strategy and momentum. Functions, your abilities, can be equipped, modified and combined to change damage types, movement tools and status effects. And this really is one of the best elements of the game that really encourages experimentation. The enemies and arenas are designed around spacing and cooldown management, so position matters as much as raw damage. The levels are linear and combat focused, with story being delivered through atmosphere, narration and strong music, rather than long cutscenes. I like how flexible builds become once you start combining all of the functions, because it rewards curiosity more than grinding itself. Transistor is currently £3.09 or your region's equivalent, and is discounted by 80% until January the 6th in UK, Europe and North America. Moving on from deliberate planning to something faster and much more chaotic. Dicey Dungeons is a turn-based roguelike where your actions are powered by dice rolls and smart allocation. Each turn you roll dice, then slot them into weapons, abilities and equipment. Higher numbers might fuel stronger attacks, while low rolls can be repurposed with clever tools. Different characters dramatically change the rules, from inventors who build gadgets to robots that manage limited battery, making all runs feel distinct. Encounters are quick, but strategy comes from planning around probability, enemy patterns, and the gear you draft along the way. All of the game's systems are easy to understand and readable, so you can learn by playing and still feel in control. Dicey Dungeons is available for £1.34 or your currency's equivalent, an 87% discount until January the 8th in all regions. Now to lighten the tone with something more playful. Golf Story is a sports RPG that mixes accessible golf mechanics with exploration, quests and light progression. You travel between courses that act like overworld zones, taking on story missions, skill challenges and side activities that use golf shots in creative ways. Shot selection is simple but skill based. Club choice, aim and power matter the most, so all of your improvement comes from learning terrain, wind and timing rather than stats alone. Side quests include trick shot challenges and mini-games that remix the swing system, keeping variety high. The dialogue and character moments keep the tone playful, while optional tasks add depth beyond standard matches. I enjoy that it stays approachable while still rewarding precision when you chase the tougher challenges. Golf Story is currently £4.49 or your regional equivalent, and is discounted by 67% until January the 11th in the UK and Europe and January the 12th in North America. And moving on from sports to a subversive take on classic RPG structure. Underhero is a side-scrolling RPG adventure that flips the usual hero narrative by putting you in the role of a villain's minion. Exploration mixes platforming, light puzzles and story encounters, while the combat uses time-based inputs for attacks, blocks and special moves to keep battles active. The progression focuses on abilities and equipment choices rather than grinding, and the pacing stays brisk with frequent new mechanics and set-piece moments. The writing is a big part of the appeal, using humour and fourth-wall winks without sacrificing any clear quest structure. The combat is definitely the main draw here because it remains interactive, with good timing consistently mattering more than raw numbers. Underhero is currently available for £3.74 or the price on the graphic, with a 75% discount until January the 11th in the UK and Europe and January 12th in North America. This next one is slower and definitely more choice-driven. Lil Guardsman is a narrative deduction game where you inspect visitors at a city gate and decide who gets let in. The core loop is questioning characters, choosing dialogue options and using tools to spot inconsistencies. and then making a call that can ripple into later days. It's structured like a daily routine, so you can balance curiosity with time pressure, and your decisions shape relationships and scenarios. Some visitors return at a later date, so remembering details and patterns becomes part of the strategy. There's no combat in the game. All of the tension comes from the judgment calls, limited information, and learning how different factions operate. Every decision and choice you make accumulate over time, and it encourages careful listening instead of rushing into the next scene. There's a surprising amount of depth to it, and it offers about 10 hours of gameplay, and for just £4.49 or your currency's equivalent, it really is a great little pickup, and right now is 75% off until January the 7th in the UK and Europe, and January the 8th in North America. From calm deduction to something loud and deliberately over the top. Unmetal is a top-down stealth action game that parodies classic infiltration adventures while still offering solid mechanics, and they make no effort to hide that. I'm sure you can see the influence. The levels are built around sneaking past guards, using distractions, hiding in boxes, and improvising when alarms go off, with light puzzles and gadgets expanding your options. You can approach many rooms in multiple ways: quiet takedowns, creative misdirection, or messier combat if you get caught, so experimentation is often encouraged. Some sections lean into keycard and security layouts, rewarding map awareness and timing. The story is told through exaggerated interrogation scenes that frame your escape as an increasingly ridiculous tale. It's a simple game that's just fun to play, and it has a flexible stealth system that allows you to recover from mistakes instead of instantly failing you. Unmetal is available for £4.49 or your country's equivalent, and is 75% off until January the 7th in the UK and Europe, and January the 8th in North America. The Survivalists Deluxe Edition is a top-down survival sandbox focused on crafting, exploration, and building repeatable routines. You gather resources, craft tools, cook food, and explore procedurally generated islands filled with ruins, animals, and hazards. The core gameplay loop leans into teaching the monkeys who inhabit the island with you to perform tasks for you like chopping, hauling, or crafting, so you can assign them jobs and create light automation as your base grows. Combat exists, but it supports exploration rather than dominating the loop, and the game's main progression is driven by unlocking recipes and improving efficiency. It's an open-ended world that lets you set your goals wherever you want, whether it's exploring, building, or just optimizing your base. The Survivalists Deluxe Edition is currently $2.69 US or $2.89 Canadian, and is only available in North America, and is 90% off until January the 9th. And to close things out, I decided to choose something tense and psychological. Layers of Fear Legacy is a first-person psychological horror game built around exploration, environmental puzzles, and shifting spaces. You navigate a haunted mansion where rooms rearrange, paintings change, and small interactions trigger new variations, creating unease through instability. There's no combat. Tension comes from the sound design, lighting, and the way the environment reacts to your progress, pushing you to observe details and keep moving. The puzzles aren't too tough, often about manipulating objects, codes, or pathways to unlock the next sequence, and the structure of the game is linear, but the presentation evolves constantly to keep familiar hallways feeling unfamiliar. The linear story isn't an issue, because it constantly controls the pacing and builds dread gradually instead of relying on non-stop jump scares. Layers of Fear Legacy is available for £2.69 or your regional equivalent, and is discounted by 85% until January the 12th in the UK and Europe, and January the 6th in North America. So yeah, bargains galore, and there is still so much more available, so for sure let me know in the comments what I've missed or what you're interested in picking up. Honestly, there are so many more games on sale, I could probably make another 50 lists, and every time I finish one, I spot a game I wish I talked about, and then consider whether or not I should drop another one. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, be sure to like and subscribe for more eShop roundups, reviews, and general Switch shenanigans. Hopefully the backlogs aren't looking too menacing currently. The one downside of looking out for cheap